Please put your hands together for Mr. Tom Collette.
Thank you, Jonathan. Good evening, my friends. Yes, I was a science teacher for 25 years, and trust me, thank you. That was a lot of frogs. But I will never forget my first day as a teacher, because that day, I almost got fired. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever gone out celebrating your dream job with your friends and you stay out just a little bit too late? Maybe you have one too many? You wake up that next morning a little tired and a little hungover. Now you know how I felt that Monday morning, my first day on the job. Now, I will admit, I did take the easy way out. I assigned bookwork. You know, that's where they read and I nap. But before I completely dozed off, I noticed out of the corner of my eye that Principal Patty had quietly entered the room. She was there to evaluate me. Now, I don't know how long she'd been standing there, but as soon as she caught my attention, she motioned me over to the door like this. And I'll tell you what, whenever Principal Patty did one of these, it wasn't followed by good news. You know, she was the most imposing 4'11" woman I ever met. So she says to me, "Mr. Collette, isn't that something they could be doing at home?" And she just walked out of the room without another word. My heart dropped and I figured my teaching career was probably over before it had even begun. So that night I went home ready to lick my wounds. But instead, I had a life-changing epiphany. I said to myself, dude, you know, California kid from the 80s, that's what I call myself. Dude, you're a magician, and science is magical. So the next day I showed up well-rested and prepared with a magical solution. I started the class off that day by holding up a beaker of green water. I didn't use yellow for obvious reasons. And then I covered it with a card. Actually, it's a laminated pocket periodic table. And I asked my students to form a hypothesis. If I were to remove my hand from underneath this beaker, will the water fall out or stay suspended? Well, what do you all think? By round of applause, how many say, if I remove my hand, I'm going to need a mop on this stage? Okay, oh wow, a lot of you. That sounds like almost half. And how many say the water stays? We have some believers in science. How many say Principal Patty should have just fired me on the spot? Well, thank you for your stone-hearted compassion. Well, now that we know where we all stand, it's time for my favorite part of science. It's the reason why I became a science teacher. The experiment! Let's test it out. It's science! And it works because the air all around us at sea level exerts about 15 pounds of force per square inch in every direction all at once, including up against the periodic table keeping the water in. Isn't science awesome?
Yes.
Yeah, my people. You know, my students were pretty impressed by this, but the thing that really inspired them was when I did this. What? And as I gazed out at their stunned faces, I heard someone in the back of the room applauding. You probably, oh, thank you, yes. You probably guessed who it was, though, Principal Patty. And I think the reason why she was so impressed is because these same kids were totally checked out just the day before, and now they were really excited about science. And that's because this demonstration shows that the line between science and magic, it isn't always entirely clear. I mean, who really knows where science ends and magic begins? I do. Thank you. That wonderful day, I made a commitment to myself, and I told myself I am going to be the best science teacher I can be without any more hangovers. And I'm happy to report in 2012 I was honored to be named California's Teacher of the Year.
Wow.
You know, whenever people ask me how I did it, I always tell them the truth. Magic!